Hello everybody. Welcome back to the Lunge Test Training Challenge, where I have challenged myself to get as many training elements of the lunge test done as possible before I go and contact a bent brander trainer to get some more information and criticize my positioning, because it's been a while. But thank you for coming. I do want to tell you that there was a little bit of a hitch in the timeline from the original timeline. There was some weather that hit Indianapolis, which made the footing not so great, and I don't like training in bad footing. And there was also a few other things that happened, along with Revan having kind of an autoimmune issue. I'm posting more details on my Patreon page about Revan, but we have now resolved that, and we can finally continue in our training. But there may be another slowdown due to his tight muscles, because he was kind of a crazy horse and decided to run around in the mud and the rain. And he lives outside, so that's completely natural. I'd rather have him run around like that than have him injure himself in the stall. But we are done with that. We are working on treating his strained muscles from that, and we're going to be moving on to the next step of training while that is happening. So the original timeline was 9-3 to 9-17. I was to do the first section, which is forward, down, shoulder in straight, travers on the diagonal, walk trot transitions on the lunge. That extended into the next section because I didn't complete it until last Tuesday, which was 10-8, and that ran right into the next section, which was collected shoulder in straight, school halt from shoulder in, and walk trot canter transitions on lunge. So until his sore muscle issue is taken care of in his back end, the canter transitions on the lunge are going to be not a thing. He does have a history of an SI issue, so I am very careful about that sort of thing. But we can do school halt from shoulder in and walk trot transitions on the lunge. So this video is the completion of the first section and then the start of the next section. So what I have offered here in this video is the first attempts at the collected shoulder in straight and the school halt from shoulder in. He already does very well at the walk trot transitions on lunge, so since it wasn't walk trot canter, I didn't include it in this video. But the new timeline, since we have completed, is 9-3 to 10-8. We have those first three elements, and then from 10-8 to 10-29, which was the original 3 weeks, we'll see how far we can get with the collected shoulder in straight, school halt from shoulder in, and walk trot canter transitions. Canter transition once his hind end issue is figured out. But we will still be working on perfecting or improving our first section's work. But let's get into these videos. So we have the forward down shoulder in, and I apologize for the brightness issue. I didn't realize this was an issue until after I had been done, and I went back home and I realized that he is reflecting the sunlight like a beam of light. But here we have forward down, so I mean forward down by his head is level, his face is on the vertical, and he is moving forward in a relaxed manner. Here is the travers on the diagonal, so he's used to doing travers straight, so I'm just asking him to follow me onto a diagonal line. He seems a little unsure because he's never moved in that direction, and it's been kind of slow going with this, but the fact that he can do so many steps on a diagonal is really good. Even though it's not the most collected and it's not the prettiest, it's working in a positive manner. So he offers this really well. This is his not so easy side because you can see he's trying to straighten out on me. But we get him back into it. Part of his stiffness is his muscle strains. but he did a good job. We have the walk halt on the lunge. This is a new concept for him. The fact that we're lunging and we're doing walk halt. Usually when I ask him to stop on the lunge, he turns and faces me. That's why we're on the fence. So that kind of gets into the habit of, hey, this is something new that we're going to be doing. And just moving forward with it. But he's doing a good job so far. So once he gets more used to me doing these transitions while I'm close to him, because lunging is just groundwork on a longer line. You start on a short-ish long line while you're walking next to him at or behind the drive line. And then you do the transition or the lateral work that you're asking for, and then as they get better and better, eventually you move farther and farther away until they can do that out on the circle. So collective shoulder in, this is new. We haven't done collective shoulder in straight like at all. We've done collective shoulder in on the circle. So he's a little confused here. He's thinking that I'm asking him to do a travers, because usually when I'm asking him to do something straight, it's travers. His shoulder is kind of popping out a little bit, but since this is like the actual first time that I've asked him to do this, it's not so bad. I'm trying to keep his head, I'm actually pushing his head back out onto a little more straight, but he is pushing his head back into me because he's not sure. Whenever he, as this particular horse, gets insecure, he pushes his face back into me. And I think that's it seems to be a common blind horse thing. But school hold from shoulder in. This was an adventure. He wasn't used to and wasn't sure about halting in shoulder in, so he would halt and then straighten out. So I think we're going to be working on just halting in shoulder in. He did a good try there. I didn't ask for too much, knowing that his hind end is pretty tight from its strain, but we did the best we could. And that is it. So yeah, that's what we've got so far. And I appreciate that you are watching and following along with our little journey here. And please, if you are interested in our further journey, come to Patreon. Come to Patreon, and if you want to become a supporter, I encourage you to be a supporter of this little operation that I have going. And if you become a Revan supporter, I will give you all of the updates on his health issues that we're working through. He currently, as he gets older, I mean, every horse has their little challenges that develop. And right now, he has the classic Appaloosa autoimmune thing kind of raising its ugly head a little bit, but it's not like super bad. He has red eye, which is a precursor to keratosis. We're trying to keep it at red eye level instead of, full-on blind removal of the eye level. And the other thing that he had the itchy skin inflammation issue. So I found a supplement that works, and we've taken care of that. His hoof quality was kind of decreasing along with the skin issue, which is common. And it's not like a huge decrease. It was just enough that I noticed his heels are not the sting as strong as they used to. So these are very tiny, slight changes that happened, but I will identify them as early as possible and then treat it. And it looks like we're having success with this particular supplement we're using. But also he's got SI issues from an injury that he got out in the field with another very large horse that was turned out with him. It was not to my knowledge, and that particular horse should not have ever been turned out with the youngsters. But he got beat up pretty bad by that horse. I did move him once I figured that out. But we've been working through some SI issues, and he tends to get pretty tight if he decides to do something silly out in his field. But yeah, we're managing it, and if you manage it and prevent it, then it becomes not a problem. So I'm going to be showing that all on Patreon as we work through this and as I have the chance to video it. So if you want to join us, please join us. But otherwise, have a wonderful day. Thank you.